What's the most unbelievable thing a roommate has ever done to you? So a couple years ago, I moved into this apartment with a guy I'll call Jake. At first, Jake seemed super chill. He was friendly, paid his half of the rent on time, and we actually got along pretty well. But after about 2 months, little red flags started popping up. It started with small stuff, like my food going missing from the fridge. I'd buy a pack of chicken, and the next day half of it was gone. I asked Jake, and he'd laugh it off like, "Oh man, I thought that was mine, my bad." Fine. Annoying, but whatever. Then it escalated. One night I came home and my entire bedroom door was slightly open, which was weird because I always locked it. When I went inside, I noticed my PS5 wasn't where I left it. I panicked, thinking we'd been robbed, until I heard noise from Jake's room. I walked in and found him sitting on my bed, controller in hand, playing my PS5. He just looked at me and said, "Dude, you weren't using it," like it was no big deal. That's when I started being more cautious. I put locks on my bedroom and even started keeping valuables in my car. But then came the night everything blew up. I got home from work late and noticed the apartment smelled weird, like burnt plastic. I walk into the kitchen and Jake is literally trying to cook steak with a hair straightener. Apparently the stove wasn't working. Spoiler, it was. He just didn't feel like cleaning it. The worst part? He left the straightener plugged in on a wooden cutting board and nearly set the whole place on fire. I completely lost it. We had a screaming match, and that's when Jake snapped. He started yelling about how he paid rent too, and how I was selfish for locking him out of my stuff. Then, mid-argument, he actually admitted he'd been reading my journal when I wasn't home because he wanted to know the real me. That was it. The next day, I called the landlord, broke my lease, and moved out. Jake tried to guilt-trip me, saying I was abandoning him, but honestly, I didn't care. To this day, I have no idea what happened to him. But whenever people ask me about my worst living situation, I just say, at least none of you had a roommate who almost burned the place down with a hair straightener.